These are the legs of former Canadian ballet dancer Kelly Ronahan before she lost them in 2020 due to severe injury and necrosis, widely speculated by online observers to have been self-inflicted, though she claimed to have been suffering from a mysterious disease. It's said that Kelly had Munchausen by internet and deliberately harmed herself to the extreme in a quest for attention from her followers on Instagram. It's also said that she suffered from dermatillomania, a condition in which a person has an unshakable compulsion to pick at their skin. Whatever the case may be, the story of Kelly's downward spiral is a spellbinding and tragic one. The images included in this video to help tell Kelly's story are censored, but if you'd like to see a visual timeline of the deterioration of her legs, please see the link in the description. Be warned, though, that the images, as well as our story for today, are truly shocking. 37-year-old Kelly Ronahan, in addition to being a ballet dancer, was once also a ballet instructor. Kelly had a twin sister, Gina, and the two were raised separately by their divorced parents, Gina by their father and Kelly by their mother. Kelly has implied that she never liked being a twin because it hindered her sense of individuality. She had all the same classes as Gina and has admitted to deliberately failing the 7th grade so she and Gina could finally be in separate classes and establish identities separate from one another. Kelly was either expelled or dropped out of school and became homeless, living in a shelter. While homeless, Kelly resorted to prostitution. She said she became involved with a man named Paul who became her pimp, and he abused her emotionally and physically, which she documented online with posts of her black eyes. She said he inserted sharp objects into her and forced her into sexual contact with a dog and demanded she then eat the animal. She implied the abuse she suffered was linked to satanic rituals. However, there is no evidence that Paul exists, and it's speculated Kelly made him up and either gave herself black eyes or used Photoshop to make it appear she had them. Kelly spent some time in a psychiatric ward and was diagnosed with dissociative identity disorder and PTSD. She suffered anorexia and she also self-harmed, though she claims she stopped this in 2016. The story of Kelly's apparent Munchausen by internet begins around 2015 when she began posting about a mysterious illness she'd been stricken with. She was anemic and needed blood transfusions, she said, but the cause was unknown. At first, Kelly was met with nothing but love and support for fighting through her illness. She posted photos of herself doing ballet poses in the hospital to show a positive spirit. But soon enough, people became skeptical of her story, and the internet became abuzz with speculation that Kelly was drawing blood herself, as blood does not just mysteriously disappear from one's body. Kelly's apparent Munchausen syndrome manifested on other occasions as well. She claimed to have been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and set up a GoFundMe in 2017 to get naturopathic treatment for this, as well as for an expensive medication she needed to take until getting her uterus removed. Kelly claimed her anemia was the result of uterine fibroids, and that was why she needed a hysterectomy. It isn't known if she ever got one. She also claimed various other issues from numbness in her gums, difficulty urinating, stomach ulcers, blurry vision, seizures, and so on. She also claimed at one point to be pregnant. The most disturbing part of Kelly's story, the apparent self-destruction of her legs, begins in 2018. Kelly reported sudden bruises and blisters on her legs and swollen feet, citing various causes from Paul's abuse to swelling sustained from ballet dancing. Eventually, large gaping wounds appeared in her legs that began to rot. The bones in her shins became visible, and in perhaps the most disturbing Instagram post Kelly made documenting all this, she reported excruciating pain from what she believes was a nerve snapping out of her leg. She initially cited an unknown disease as the cause of her rotting legs, but later said she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called Beckett syndrome, which does cause sores, but not only on the legs. It's generally believed she gave herself the blisters on her legs and picked at them relentlessly to create huge scabs and eventually wounds that ate through to the other side of her legs. It's also speculated that she intentionally caused infection by applying and even injecting feces into her wounds, which is evidenced by her testing positive for a bacteria present in feces. Granted, she might simply not have been washing her hands before picking at her scabs. The skin grafts doctors gave her in 2019 seemed to help matters, but she picked those away as well. Eventually, Kelly's mobility became, of course, compromised, and standing became a challenge. One of her toenails rotted off, or was picked off, and the nightmarish wounds that went through one side of each of her legs and out the other failed to heal. A friend posted that she would need a wheelchair-accessible home after bad news from a surgeon. And finally, in May 2021, Gina posted that Kelly was getting both of her legs amputated. Today, Kelly Ronahan lives without her legs and posts about, according to her Instagram bio, her journey toward getting prosthetics. Her last post of her cat was on November 1st, 2021. We might ask ourselves, would Kelly still have her legs if it weren't for the internet and the audience it allowed her? And this adds a new perspective on social media's negative impact on people suffering from mental illness. I extend my deepest sympathies to Kelly, and I hope you do too. Her story is a tragic one, and I can't help but wonder if she targeted her legs for destruction because of her struggle to find an identity apart from her sister. Her history with ballet dancing perhaps failed to fill the emptiness inside her, and so maybe she vowed that she would never dance again.